Welcome. You're listening to The Crosswalk with Deacon Kevin Endres, a show about living life at the intersection of faith, family, and vocations. And now your host, Deacon Kevin.
Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning into The Crosswalk this afternoon. I'm your host, Deacon Kevin Endres. In the studio with me is a very special guest traveling to our area here in northern Michigan, all the way from halfway around the world. Father Milan Dimic is here from Slovenia originally, now living in the United States and serving as a priest in the Diocese of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Father Dimic was born in 1958 in Slovenia, which at the time was Yugoslavia. He attended elementary school in his hometown and afterwards entered minor seminary in the capital of Slovenia. He served briefly in the military and then studied theology in Turin, Italy, and was ordained to the priesthood in 1985. For 7 years, he worked in different locations within Slovenia, and he came to the Holy Cross Church in Fairfield, Connecticut in 1992. After 5 years, he was incarnated into that Diocese of Bridgeport, and after 11 years at Holy Cross, served at St. Rose of Lima Church in Newton, and then for a period at Notre Dame Church in Easton. In 2015, he was appointed pastor of St. Emery Church in Fairfield. Father Milan, welcome to The Crosswalk.
Thank you.
Maybe just give the listener, maybe just a little bit of a background, your Slovenian background, obviously, and they'll pick up on your accent, but maybe give them a little bit of a history of what it was like growing up in a communist country and growing up Catholic.
Yeah, one for sure was that not like being a member of Catholic Church, growing up, and parents also traditional Catholics. And so it was noticeable then because that meant that all the higher places were reserved. You couldn't advance in your career very high. If you were not a member of party or if you didn't nod to their directions, to say. So it was clear from early years. I still vividly remember even fifth grade episode where the teacher that was a staunch Communist Party member, in one afternoon we were sitting in classroom and it started to rain, and she pointed out to me, "Is that God's will that is raining and you are going home now in rain?"
Oof.
And so you have to swallow things like that.
Yeah.
Not to say, that would be a pressure, but episodes like that. How they try to put you down, because you go to church as a fifth grader.
Wow.
But I say, and then even when I would go to military service, standing in front of commission there, and because I was already no seminarian, so the officers straightly asked, "Are you really there in the seminary, or they brought you in and forced you to do that?" I said, "No, I am freely there, and I will stay."
Yeah. So is your military service required then by the government that all men of a certain age enter into military service?
That's correct,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There was no exemption to the rule, to say.
Yeah.
So and also then it was clear like that others would get to serve nearby. In Slovenia. But I was shipped like 1,000 kilometers or 700 miles down to Macedonia to serve there. And was a strong experience, even in military. I was brought up again. You're a seminarian. All right. So you get special duties too, say for that.
So in reality, they allowed you to practice your Catholic faith, but then they kind of tightened the screws to you and your family in other manners. So they said, "Well, you can do it, but then we're going to get you in other ways." Essentially, is how it played out.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why you start thinking. All right, what is this system and all that? Is it really, what they are advertising is really so freeing and so equality and all that? And I said, well, no, it's not.
Yeah.